Does winning make everything all right? Let's talk about that. Folks, welcome to the Baseball Brewhaha. It is nice to have you here. And here we are. The birthday week has passed. Adam, I know you had originally said things were pretty low key.
Yep.
Did any intensity intensify?
I went to a new restaurant.
Okay.
It got wild.
Did define that? Unpack that.
I had a burger, I had fries,
Mm-hmm.
I had a shake.
Yep.
It's been unpacked.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want a sense of the wildness of the life that is mine,
Mm-hmm.
it's what it is.
That's what it is. Where do you rank the burger and fries all time? Roughly.
All time?
I mean, roughly. When you ate it, were you
It
like,
was,
oh, this is like
yeah,
an 8 out of 10? Was it a 2, 3, 7, 6, 5,
I
a
go,
6, 7,
it's
5,
it
3, 0, 9?
it's on the upper end of the scale,
Was good. Solid.
but it's like craft burgers and they got special types of burgers and special shakes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, little bourbon peach shake was delicious.
Interesting. Okay.
Um, but yeah,
So
you know,
on the shake, do you tend to go more fruit, or do you tend to do like chocolate, vanilla, caramel? Like what area do you like to participate in?
I don't tend to shake.
Yeah, yeah, I don't either. But when shaking happens,
When when shaking happens, it tends to be like a vanilla base,
yeah. Mhm.
and then from there it's all mood. It could be fruit.
All the mood.
Yeah, all vanilla a la mood. Um, it, because with vanilla you can go
Yeah, you can
fruity,
go.
you can go fruity, or you can like mix in the chocolate or the caramel,
Hmm.
whatever you got there.
Yep, you can. You got it. So, well, nice. That sounds great. I my wife surprised me, showed up to my office and took me out to lunch. There's this chicken sandwich spot that has a weird name. It's called Sexy Sammy's.
Okay.
Have you heard of this?
No, but with a name like that, it must be good chicken.
Tagline: Come hungry, leave sexy. Which it's maybe a bit overdone for a chicken sandwich shop. Um, I wanted to go there.
Yeah.
Had a coupon, but it was a very nice day. Weather was spectacular, like low 80s, just great weather. But their outside situation was a train wreck.
Uh-oh.
Let's not call it train. Let's call it devoid of anything resembling ambiance.
Hmm.
Well, just you couldn't have tried less. And so I was just like, I can't, as much as I want to eat here, I literally can't do this. I can't sit here with my wife in this. What is this?
Hmm.
Terrible.
Hmm.
So we went to another place. I had their chicken sandwich and it was fine.
Yeah.
Probably like a 4 or 5, 6,
Okay.
7.
I got enough of that in my life.
I
Don't be
figured.
bringing that in this sacred space. Come on.
Oh, mom and dad are watching. They're like, "What does that even mean?"
Don't Google it.
Yeah, don't. It's not even. The first thing, isn't it? Like the what I've looked. it means like nothing.
It it, it has other meanings.
It has other meanings. Okay, fair. All right, so anyway, we went out to lunch. Um, it was fine. It was one of those. It was great. It was much more enjoyable to hang out with my wife than it had anything to do with the food. So,
Yeah.
and then went to a Rockies game, and we'll talk a little bit about this with kind of the intro, work culture type of stuff. Because one of my
Mhm.
friends couldn't go at 7 p.m. because of work, and it was irritating. I felt bad for him. I mean, I'm not like mad at him. It's not his fault. Um, but um, but it was unfortunate, and the Rockies continue to be terrible. So, but we had a good time, and then I got a hat.
Yeah.
So my kids got me a hat.
Yeah, well, and I'm sort of extending my birthday week a bit, kind
Mm,
of into
mm.
next week with my own Rockies
Rockies,
game.
yeah, you can't get enough Rockies.
Yeah.
You'd start to think we're Rockies fans around here.
Let's be sure not to make that mistake.
Yeah, yeah. So if you're wondering, we're not Rockies fan. I mean, they're fine, but it's because they're the Rockies.
Yeah, they're not threatening anybody.
No, they're not threatening anybody. So, um, yeah, the game I went to, it went late. We had a 40-minute lightning delay.
Mm-hmm. Saw
Um,
that.
yeah, they had the tarp on the field for a bit, but I don't think it really sprinkled. That's what I got out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it made for a late night. Made for a late night, but it's a good time. It's always a good time. You go with some friends to a game. It's always a good time. So, but anything else you want to add? Otherwise, we should get into this. My friend um is has a blog, and he writes some neat stuff that I connect with well, and and so I was gonna launch us into that. But any thoughts here?
No, well, I was thinking about the intro and
Mhm.
winning and work and culture, and maybe
Mhm.
we'll get into this a little bit because we try to talk about baseball a fair amount
Mhm.
and just think, what other line of work? I mean, there are probably quite a few actually.
Mhm.
But it's a unique line of work in that the scope of your job sometimes is dependent on the weather, you
You
know.
mean you're talking about a baseball game?
Yeah, you know, can't
Mhm.
start working right now because there's lightning in the sky,
Yes.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm sure that's, golf,
Mm-hmm.
construction, some other things where that comes into
Mm-hmm.
play, but it's not every day
No.
that
Yeah.
happens, and a construction worker doesn't have bleachers full of people cheering them on. Hey, hit that nail good.
Mm-hmm. Well, it would be nail gun, but anyway,
Yeah, you know,
the point's taken.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we mostly suffer through our version of rain delay is when you have technology hops off the rails temporarily. I
Mm-hmm.
had one of those this week. We're getting ready for kind of a one of our busier seasons, and I'm doing a lot of prep work. I did a week's worth of prep work. Half of it didn't get saved.
Woo!
Talk about a stinking rain delay.
Yeah.
Man, that'd drive a man crazy around here.
Yeah, so does winning
Mhm.
cover a multitude of sins?
Right. Yeah. So yeah, we're talking a little bit beforehand um about like clubhouse culture.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we've never been in a Major League Baseball clubhouse, which
No.
has to be far more complex simply because of the fact these guys are all elite athletes. And to get to that level, there is a certain amount of ego required. Um, and so you're balancing all that. You have all these personalities in a clubhouse. And a lot of these guys, like most of these guys, were top dog everywhere they went until maybe they got into that clubhouse. And so my understanding is that I think most guys, and this is kind of true of life, I think probably 80% of people just get along with pretty much everybody. You can kind of make it work. Might be some disagreements. Generally, it's fine. And then you have other people and then you have sort of probably like 1 to 3% who are really difficult and make it arguably impossible to work under conditions for any length of time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have no math to back that up, no stats. Do you feel like that's maybe an approximation?
Yeah. We can work with that assumption.
Yeah. So we were talking about this whole thing of culture and winning, and this came up with my friend not being able to come with us to the game. And my other friend here wrote this article, and he was talking about culture and developing curiosity rather than being insecure all the time because you're not sure if you're going to get fired or whatever, you're going to fail or whatever it is. So here's what he wrote. I wonder what a vulnerable organization might look like. What might happen if we created space for people to chase their sparks or, kind of your inspirations without quantifiable purpose, or drafting a workplace culture away from insecurity and toward curiosity. If instead of measuring output or effectiveness first, we talked about how a project feels or what magic we experience along the way. Adam, some thoughts?
Yeah, well, there's I think a balance there, and there's also an interesting like psychological piece to that as well. But in general, I'm right there with him. You want to have a safe culture where you can try new things and you can
Mm-hmm.
explore and pursue your passions and all that, all that. And sometimes it's hard when you're in an environment that is driven by data and results and the bottom line, and to feel like you are your best self at all times. And but some people really thrive in that and really enjoy that
Mm-hmm.
type of work environment, and some people don't, and some people change over time. I was also just thinking about how sometimes, thinking back to the end of that quote about the magic and the sort of like following the joy, essentially,
Mm-hmm.
that there's sometimes the joy is at the end of the journey, and sometimes it doesn't feel like magic
Mm-hmm.
at the outset.
Yeah.
And but the magic is in the becoming,
Mm-hmm.
and you see it at the back end. And so
Yeah.
sometimes you don't know. So how do you?
Well, but with that though, like here's something I would say. So like I've I think probably most of us have worked in really great work environments and some not so great. And so I can remember some where things were, in terms of my job, I really enjoy what I did. was enjoying what I was doing. I really struggled with the leadership. And some of it was because I felt like I I wasn't being trusted, essentially. And kind of not in sort of like a overt sort of way, but you know, but just kind of just you just kind of feel like you're not I would say maybe not trusted as like you're not given ownership. You're not allowed to like, hey, this is your thing, and we trust you just to jam with it and make it better and do your stuff. And we'll give you feedback. And if we think you're off track, like we'll talk to you about it. But this is your deal. And that wasn't the case. And so as much as I liked what I was doing, I liked our team, I was good with our mission, what we're trying to accomplish, serving our clients. There was no magic. There was no feels. And so um and I remember having conversation where we'd sit down and we'd have like staff meetings and we'd be like, we've just been stuck here. We're not, and it's like you're looking at it and you're going, look, dude, like the culture here is like not super healthy. And I can tell you that we're not getting to the next level because of that reason. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, the top was like win, 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 win. And we're doing fine. Like, it's not like we're floundering or failing. We're doing fine, but we're not growing. And it was 100% because of the limitations of the culture.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it gets back to the is is winning enough?
Yeah. Because like
And
we were talking a little bit about Barry Bonds before.
yep.
Elite player, arguably one of maybe the best ever. Never won a World Series. And notoriously struggled with teammate relationships and media and coaches and all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and was still a productive player when
Uh-huh.
he was essentially pushed out of the league.
That is interesting. Yeah, I see. I feel like I didn't really follow real tail end of his career.
Yeah,
Um,
he wanted to keep playing, and he
uh,
was still a productive player when
mhm,
his last season ended, and then nobody signed him.
yeah.
And a lot of the news around that, and sort of the speculation, and also what was known about his presence in the clubhouse is, you know,
Mhm.
teams teams were worried about the impact of his personality on the clubhouse.
Yeah, that's interesting about Bonds, and he never won a World Series. Um, what you know, you don't know, but were there did the relationships in the clubhouse prevent them from taking that step? It's
Hmm.
hard. It's really hard to know for sure, but it certainly could.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors there, and in a
Hmm.
lot of organizations, there's a lot of uh, factors.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, but it's interesting because like for me, the environment that I work in now is we're growing. I mean, we're trying to grow, but not like aggressively. But there's the much of the focus of our team is like family comes first. We care for each other, care for our clients. Like you just feel like it's different that way. And
hmm
there's trust, like I have ownership over my role.
hmm
I get feedback and hey, can you do this? And how can we improve this? So on. But it's done in a healthy way, not in a belittling way or, my friend talking about getting an assignment and kind of getting publicly spanked because he accidentally did the wrong scope. Rather than just saying, "Oh, hey, that was a little bit more than we needed." You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Yeah.
Like, so it definitely feels like the, like the quality of the work environment can totally impact the success when you're not insecure, when you're not worried about, is my job on the line? If I make a mistake, am I going to get yelled at and put in the
Hmm.
doghouse?
Yeah.
Like, I personally, I mean, maybe some of this has to do with how you're motivated.
Hmm.
Um, Maybe some people need that challenge in the fire and that kind of thing. But some people work, I think my assumption is I think most people work best when they are truly given ownership and responsibility.
Yeah.
Maybe. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I
Maybe
think
the
that's true. Well, and the support they
need. Yeah.
need to be successful, then that's somewhere, sometimes maybe um, where the challenge lies is, what does support mean? What does helpful feedback mean?
Hmm.
And some people, some
Hmm.
leaders struggle with that, or some leaders, um, it's like a reflection of the pressure they're feeling from
Hmm.
whoever's above them, or sort of the deadlines or the pressures that they're feeling as well, and they're having a hard time navigating their own kind of internal experience with that. So,
Hmm.
you know, but that has that ripple effect across the whole culture for
Hmm.
sure.
The thing I was just thinking about too was what when we were in high school, we played basketball we didn't play football, played basketball in the winter and baseball in the fall. And the coaches that we had could not have been any more different humans.
Hmm.
um, One loud, um, you could say he yelled a bunch, which he did, but and then the other one like never yelled.
Hmm.
Like one time he did because we were all not taking a game seriously, and it meant something because it wasn't something that, so two very different approaches, but I would say both very successful.
Hmm.
So anyway, I was just thinking about that. I don't know if you have any thoughts about kind of
Yeah,
different leadership culture.
there are a lot of ways to be successful, and there's a lot of ways to not be also.
The thing I think of with that though is that like even though our one of our coaches was, you could say, quote unquote, a yeller, there wasn't a question of though of like him whether he cared about you or not, or if you were gonna get thrown off the team, or you were like, I don't know, it was like it was a different tactic, but it's at the end of the day, like I think we all knew that both these coaches, just in a different way, cared.
Hmm.
And um and so I think this is a big part of what blog writers saying here, is that when you're in a work environment where you know that people care about you as a person, that makes a big difference.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
I think even with performance.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of research out there, and a lot of surveys and all of that around work culture and how people experience work work their lives at work. and
Hmm.
what types of conditions are work best for, you know, for excellence.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And this kind of thing goes into parenting.
Hmm.
You know, you parent for behavioral outcomes and like grades and being the best athlete, and or do you um is your number one priority making sure your kid knows that they're loved
Hmm.
unconditionally and supported, and um yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different rhetoric out there about like, you know, almost kind of like going back to a world where we're like mean to kids, do it because I say so. And it's like, i I and like the rhetoric around like today's generation is soft, and there's certainly some lines there,
Hmm.
um but I don't know. I you work with kids all the time,
Yeah.
so that, I mean, that's, yeah, that's another
Yeah,
realm.
yeah, it's tough. It's tough for me when we're talking about kids in
Yeah.
particular because kids are products of their environment.
Hmm.
Like kids aren't born lazy or born whatever the, soft or whatever.
Yeah.
They're, they have temperaments and whatever, but they're products of the parenting and the schooling and the different environments that they're in.
Hmm.
And it's a different parenting environment, it's a different parenting culture, especially since COVID. It's a lot of parent anxiety, and that gets passed on to kids.
Hmm.
And kids who are anxious, what do? They don't thrive, and they stay in the places that are comfortable to them, and they play their
Yeah.
video games, and and so
Hmm.
um so in
Yeah.
I think a little bit about like schools and even companies, and I've been doing a lot of thinking recently about this quote that I learned, that comes from systems thinking, but it was applied to, in sort of in my world in school, in the school realm, how we approach equitable education practices
Hmm.
and ensuring that all students have access to welcoming uh, in learning environments where they have the same access to tools and resources as anybody else.
Hmm.
And the quote around systems thinking is, every system is exquisitely designed to produce the results it gets. And it might be that
Hmm.
it's left sort of unattended. And so it's sort of like an accidental result, but it's still a product of whatever the environment is.
Hmm.
And on the other hand, if it's and this is for good or bad results. So if there's something working really well in a particular company, it's
Hmm.
because it's been designed to do that well.
Hmm.
And even if it appears to be on accident or something, or we don't know why it works the way it does, it is on purpose. Like it's a
Hmm.
product of a design mechanism, even if we can't articulate it. And the same is true of things that aren't going well. And so when I think about this conversation around workplace culture, and then I think especially about what you're just bringing up around kids and school culture and how we describe kids, they, when we think about them, very crudely as products or their
Hmm.
behavior as products. We have designed systems that produce that result.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a mic drop
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah. And so like the other side of
Yeah.
that is um the like the quote that sort of like takes it into like the action mode is like we must then create the conditions where certain types of things become likely. So if we want belonging, if we want kids who are resilient, if we want a work culture where
Hmm.
people are curious and living their best selves and bringing their best selves to work, we have to intentionally design that.
Yeah. 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 And it's like, it's that way, I think, with work culture and things like that. The thing that is interesting, though, like as I was thinking about work culture, is like there's a certain amount of it that's like, I think certain people are just, they're just different people. So they lead entities differently. Because we had
Yeah.
like that, my prior job I was kind of talking about where the culture struggled a bit, is that we would do these different like culture event things, like to
hmm
try to build culture and
Yeah.
inspiration or whatever. And every time you go, you're like, it's not gonna help.
Yeah, 'cause
You know,
there's
there's
other
other
parts of the
yeah.
system,
Yes.
other parts of the design that are flawed.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it's like even you think of like I've been learning a lot also recently about discipline,
Hmm.
like you build like strength, for example, by doing disciplines of building strength. You don't build strength by going to the gym for 7 hours once a month. That's not an effective approach. And so it's
Yeah.
the same thing, like having a big, fun, hoorah culture event once a month or once a quarter or once a year.
Hmm.
That's not culture.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's also one of those things where like if you're like day to day looks like this over here,
Yeah.
and then you have like even once a week a culture event where you're like, we want to be, we're like this, and we're, and but it's like what's said over here and what's done over here are not the same thing.
hmm
It doesn't work. It
No.
doesn't do. And that's true of baseball team, you
hmm
know, your home, school, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like if it's looks like this, but if you say this and it looks like this, like it just it it derails. And like
hmm
kids especially feel it in their bones. Like they might
Yeah.
not be able to articulate it,
hmm
um, but they feel it in their bones that it's like something is awry.
Yeah.
And you can't always, like I said, you can't always articulate it, but um and I think it's I kind of feel like all of us, if we sit and listen, can walk into a situation and sometimes you feel comfortable. Sometimes you get that little weird feeling where you're like, I don't know what it is,
Yeah.
but something feels off. And then you
hmm
figure it out later and you're like,
Yeah.
that's what it was, you know.
Yeah, and then every person has a different experience of that, you
Yeah.
know.
Hmm.
Like certain like a really high demand culture where there's no work-life balance. Like some people just eat that up. I
Yeah.
want that all day, every day.
Yeah.
and some people don't. And so
Yeah, that's a good point.
it's
Mhm.
it is a, you know, a, I suppose a beautiful part of some of the freedom that we have going, even going
Mhm.
back to the blog post you read about finding your magic and the curiosity, like some people find that in those
Mhm.
spaces and some people don't.
Yeah. Yeah. It's absolutely so. Well, folks, that's going to wrap it up. Thanks for hanging with us on this one. Took that a few different ways. But it was a great conversation. Adam, your insight, great as always. Thanks for hanging with us. And we'll be back at it next time. We'll see you then.